Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kieran and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a website using HTML and CSS. So the first thing you're going to do is install some software. Now this software is going to include an editor of some description. You can use brackets, Komodo Edit, Sublime Text or even Notepad, and this is basically just going to be where you create your files, edit your files, that kind of thing. I'm going to be using Komodo Edit for this tutorial, but you can use any, as I've said. Then you're going to be needing a host. So this host that I've got is an online host. This is 000 web host, and it'll allow you to actually distribute your website to the public. This is a local host, so it'll actually just host your website on your local machine and you can access it through your browser. So this is good for testing things before you actually upload them to an actual server. Then FileZilla is an FTP client, and that basically stands for File Transfer Protocol, which allows you to transfer your files for your website to a server or from a server to your computer, which saves you going into all the management pages and that for your host. So this is a lot easier just by connecting to it. You can go through. Now I'm going to be using Komodo Edit, as I've said. So what I've done is I've opened Komodo Edit and I've created a project which I've then created a couple of files in. So the first thing I did was I went into the www file in WAM and I created a couple of folders. Now the first folder is called image, and that's basically going to store all of your image files for your website. Then there's a folder called styles, which has something called style.css in it. We'll talk a bit more about that in a minute, but this is basically where you're going to store all of the style sheets and the themes for your website. And then index, which is your main homepage. Now if we go back over to Komodo Edit, you see index.html. Now this is the file that the web browser automatically loads whenever you start, whenever you enter a website. And to actually make this do something, you need to insert all of the different pieces of content and tags and that kind of thing. But this is just the framework. So to actually make it look good and to style it, you need what's called a style sheet. Now this is wrote in CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet, and this is basically where you install or input all of your style data, and it's the design of the website's basically made in the style sheet. So to make the style sheet work with the home page, what we actually have to do is create a tag. Now tags are basically like little containers which contain any information about the website. So you can see here we've got the HTML tags, and this is the main body which tells you what language it's wrote in. Then the head tag is where you insert things like links that you need to run the website, so we'll link to the style sheet in here. Then body is where your main content goes, so your paragraphs, your images, that kind of thing. Now to link this style sheet, what we're actually going to have to do is create a tag. Now the tag is link rel equals style sheet, and this just basically tells you what it is. Then type equals text slash CSS. You'll have to excuse my slow type, and I can't really see around the microphone very well. And then we have to do href. Now href in HTML is actually something which you'll use quite a lot because it's the main kind of link tag that you use. So what we do is we navigate through the different levels. So we're at index at the minute, so to get to the style sheet, we're going to have to go into the styles folder and then open the file called style.css. So to do this, we go style / style.css. So you can see here we're referencing styles even. Here we're referencing the folder, and then we're going into the folder and we're referencing the file. And this will link that to that. Now if we go and we actually preview the actual website, preview there, you'll see that there's nothing going through. So if you go here in between these title tags, we can insert a title. Now the title is the thing that comes up in the tab at the top here, so we'll call this home. We'll save that. You can see it's called home there. Now for the actual content, you use more tags. So we'll start with a simple header tag. Now, to create a tag, you need to use the two bracket things and put whatever type of tag it is in there, so body, head, header 1, header 2, paragraph, anything like that. And then it has to be followed by another tag with a slash in front of it. It's exactly the same, but it has a slash in front of it, which basically tells you to close the tag. Then inside the tags you can put whatever content you want. So wrong button. Header 1, and this will create a header. Then under this we can create paragraph text, and then we can say something like, hello, this is a paragraph. Save that, and there we've got a paragraph text. So this is really basic, and we'll talk more about classes and styling this later, but basically you can go into style.css. Now we can reference the body tag, which is the main thing that all of our content is going to be stored in, and it's the main section of the website. This is what goes on the page basically. What's in the head's more of the behind the scenes stuff, and the body's more the content. So you can see inside this body tag we have to create 2 curly brackets, and then we can do something called padding, set that to 0, and also margin. We can set that to 0. And basically what this does is it reduces the gap between the sides of the page and the tops of the page by setting them all to 0. So if we save that and reload this, you can see all this is came to the edge because there's no padding next to it. And inside a CSS tag, basically what you've got to do is end every line in a semicolon, which is just signaling that it's the end of the line, and then you can insert lots of other commands below that. So we can insert things such as background color, there, and we can set this to a hexadecimal code of say 666, again ending it with the semicolon, and then we can refresh this and you'll see the background color has gone to that. Now what we can actually do is we created inside the body tag, we created some header 1 and paragraph tags. Now this header 1 tag we can reference here, and we can say font family, and create one of these, so monospace, and then semicolon, and we can do the same for the paragraph tag. It's exactly the same, font family, there, and we'll call it fantasy, see what that does. And see if we save that and do it, you'll see it creates 2 different. Now font families are basically just the fonts that you get, so that's like your Comic Sans, your Times New Roman, that kind of thing. But what we can also do in this is we can say font size, and then set I forgot to mention that you do need to use, you declare the kind of function that you want, and then you put a colon and then the actual value. So we can go font size colon 30 pixels semicolon, and that'll set the header to 30 pixels. But then also what you can do is you can go font color hashtag FFF, which will be white, and then end it with the semicolon and refresh, and that should have gone white for some reason. Sorry, so when you actually do the font color, you don't use font dash color, you just do color, and then your hexadecimal code, semicolon, and that should set that, yeah, that sets that to white. So that's some of the basic kind of things you can do. Next time I'll tell you how to do things like positioning elements, inserting images, background images, tiles, classes, div tags, that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time.